We have leaks for the upcoming Motorola Razr phone, and it also seems like they might be adding a second model to the lineup. Hi, welcome to ZGadgetReview. The Motorola Razr 2023 is getting a lot of leaks and information about the upcoming device. Now, if you're not familiar with what the Motorola Razr line of phones is the foldable phones from Motorola. So like a Galaxy Z Flip, but from Motorola. And Motorola is making a lot of changes to the upcoming device based on the leaks that we've seen. That are changes that I think that are going to make a huge difference for the user. Now, in terms of specs, we don't have a lot of information, but the information that we do have is that the device is going to retain the same refresh rate from last year's device, which is 144 Hz refresh rates. So that is great news. The other thing that we know is that the battery on this device is gonna be big. According to reports taken from FCC certification, the device is going to come packed with dual 3640 milliamp hour batteries and 33 watt fast charging. So this is going to make a device that technically should last you longer than what the Galaxy Z Flip currently lasts. As we know, and based on reviews, not from last year's device, but the previous year's device, battery life on the Galaxy Z Flip is horrendous. So they made an improvement on battery life this year, but Motorola, with what they're right now, of course, we don't know what Samsung is going to announce, but what we know so far is going to be the device to beat when it comes to foldable or flippable devices. Let's quickly look at the renders that we have of the device. And one of the biggest changes that we can see here, and I think one of the most important and useful changes for the user, is that the device is going to have a 3.5-inch screen on the front. So technically what it's going to do, as you can see here, is that front screen, when the phone is folded, is going to be useful to you. Instead of having the little band like Samsung has that is barely usable, this is going to allow you to do a lot of things on the device without having to open it. In some of these screens, we can also see the level of customization that you're going to be able to have on your front screen, making the device a little more you. So as we can see here, there's an image of what looks like a maze with a ball, which will lead you to believe that you can probably use the front cover to be interactive, where you can move the ball around the maze to play around with the device. Then you can see here how colorful one of them can be with the one with all the lines. And then you have the classic tapered down color. I will think that that's like the sleep screen maybe that we're looking at there. The device might also be getting a new name, and it's probably going to be called the Motorola Razr 40 Ultra. And the reason is because Motorola seems to be wanting to unify their lineup of devices and create like a Galaxy or Pixel type of naming scheme and have everything under the 40 branding. So the Razr 40 Ultra being the top of the line device when it comes to the foldable device will take that place. And then you will have the other Motorola device, which is the candy bar style phone that just came out in April, which is called the Motorola Edge 40 Pro. So you will have that naming scheme that will put everything under one umbrella. As I said earlier, based on the leaks, it seems that Motorola is going to be adding a second device to the lineup of foldable devices, or the Razr lineup. And the naming is supposedly going to be the Motorola Razr Lite. And one of the big differences between the Motorola Razr 40 Ultra, Motorola Razr 40 Ultra is a long name. As you can see, based on the renders, we have that bottom screen that looks more like what the Galaxy Z Flip has right now on their device. And it even looks smaller than what Motorola Razr has offered before. The device supposedly is also going to be shipping with a smaller battery. So those seems to be some of the differences between both devices so far on what we know. Of course, as we get more announcements from Lenovo, aka Motorola, we are going to, of course, get more information. If you're in the US, I don't know if you should get super excited because the Razr 2022 did not make it to the US. Right now, if you want to buy the Motorola Razr 2022, you gotta import it. So that's one thing that kind of gets me puzzled about getting excited about this device, even though it looks really cool. Hopefully, Motorola does move the device and gets it to the US. The rumors are that because they're adding a second device to the lineup, that maybe that is going to be an incentive for them to bring it to the US. That way they can offer two different price points to compete with Samsung. And the third thing is that any information that we might get about this device might not come until August. And the reason is because we got information about Motorola's Razr 2022 back in August. So then technically we will get information about the 2023 in August and for a release for later in the year, maybe September. So that is so far what we know about the Motorola Razr devices. Now, Motorola has been doing a lot to improve on their devices, and it's really, really sad that there's not enough of a market in the US for this device, that people aren't buying the device as much, where we are not getting the device anymore. And this happens a lot with companies like Panasonic not releasing TVs in the US anymore. And I know for anybody who's watching this video who knows about TVs, I know there's a specific retailer that sells in the US, but technically it's not widely available for the public. You gotta go look for it. But when it comes to devices, we don't have that here, right? We don't have that. So Motorola isn't releasing the device anymore, and the reason is because there's no demand for it. And I wish that Motorola would actually put out this device, because it will be good to see the competition between Motorola, Samsung, and other companies when it comes to this space. So fingers crossed that Motorola does bring out this device to the US. Fingers crossed that the device is a contender for devices against Samsung. The reason why I'm excited about this device is because this is something that I've been hoping that somebody does for a long time. Every time that I see the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip and they have a little screen and they always show you all the little things that you can do, my thought always is, why don't they make that thing bigger? Why don't they make that thing take the whole space that you have available on that part of the phone? Like, why are you giving me this tiny little screen to barely use? It's kind of a waste. And as cool as it might be to open the phone, it's sometimes really, it's a lot easier to just look at what you have and maybe answer to a text message on the front screen and then move on than having to open the phone. So it is good that Motorola is improving in this area, and they have finally realized that you have this whole real estate available on the device that is useful, that is just going unused. So good on Motorola for finally doing that. So what do you think about this new improvement on Motorola's Razr line? Is this something that, if the device was available in the US, if you're in the US, of course, if you're in Europe or any other places, you can get it. But if you're in the US, will this be something that will sell you into buying a flip phone where you have more space to do things on the front screen? And if you have a Motorola device, what do you think about the device? Let me know in the comment section. That is it for me. Go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.